People so far seem to like various aspects that are being added to 1.20, with the majority of the update being focused on furthering self-expression, like customizable pots, armor trims, and even 2 new wood types alongside them. Some opinions on this update from the community so far seem to be more positive than usual, with many people being excited for lots of these new features. Camels were the first to be revealed, being able to dash forwards and allowing 2 players to ride on top of it at once, making for a unique dynamic when traveling. Bamboo and cherry wood are 2 brand new types of wood, with cherry blossom trees bringing in a whole new biome, with the ground beautifully littered with pink petals. Chiseled bookshelves give players another way to store book items and decorate their builds more intricately. I already know that once I get these in my survival world, I'll be using them as enchanted book storage. Hanging signs are a long-awaited decorational block, which is a lot more expensive wood-wise to craft than their normal counterpart, but gives a lot more life to builds. Netherite is more difficult to apply, making the progression towards it take longer, as well as giving players a unique reason to visit bastions. Alongside this also comes armor trims, allowing players to decorate their armor in a number of ways, better expressing themselves. Archeology is something I've been pretty excited over for a while, with players being able to create their own custom decorative pot designs, as well as establishing an entirely new system within Minecraft. I'm just a little disappointed that they didn't keep the old system, which would have been way more fun to interact with. Desert wells now have a reason to exist, as well as desert temples, having an entirely brand new secret room that can be uncovered by players. The sniffer has been added, with more changes soon on the way. He's a big boy, I love him. And the torch flower is a little disappointing. Why doesn't it glow? What the fuck? The enchantment glint has been toned down to let designs be better visible. The world creation screen got a layout change. The creative item menu has been reorganized. Finally! Horse breeding got a huge buff where a baby horse's stats aren't as biased towards the average between the 2 bred horses. Jukeboxes emit redstone signals and interact with hoppers and droppers, which should have been done ages ago, and so much more. But compared to 1.17 through 1.19, all including content that was promised for 1 update, being spread across 4 updates so far, the reception seems a lot better. While so much has been added, there's always more that could be done, adding uses to useless items and all that jazz. If you've watched Phoenix SC lately, you might have seen a lot of valid points people make about features as they come out, with Tuma being the center of attention for a whole video. So I interviewed him. I can tell that you have a very good outlook on the updates, especially with like how well received your on the copper, the string pickaxe thing that Phoenix SC made a whole video revolving around that comment you made. And by the way, how did that feel, being like the center of that entire video?
Dude, before I wasn't even subscribed to Phoenix. Like I remember I had been subscribed to him in the past, but it must have unsubscribed to me or something. So I completely missed the video. And then I see a comment from you on your YouTube channel, and you're like, "Oh, you were in a Phoenix SC video." I was like, "Whoa!" Like I thought you were joking or something. Like my heart stopped for a minute. So I'm like, I thought I would have seen that because I'm subscribed to him. So I go over to his channel and like I watched the video and my jaw dropped, dude. It was insane, man. It was awesome, dude. It was awesome.
Just for people who might not have seen the video, which a lot of people already have, but what was your relay your point?
Before, Mojang had the crafting recipe for the brush. 2 sticks down the middle and 3 string on top, which is basically a pickaxe. So I was like, oh, it's a string pickaxe, you know, that doesn't look right.
Yeah.
And it didn't really feel vanilla. It seemed like a mod almost. And I know a lot of people say that new content for Minecraft feels like a mod, but this legitimately felt like some 8-year-old had made like a new string tool set, you know, mod that's just like, it just looked off. I don't know. I saw that, I was like, no, that needs to change. And I mean, I thought it was kind of obvious that they should use copper. I mean, they even put it in the sprite for the old brush texture and the new brush texture, the sprite. I just thought it was obvious. I was like, oh, it should use copper. And then, well, it blew up, which I thought was pretty cool.
It would give more uses to copper, because a lot of people are just complaining 100%. About just copper being, you know.
That is one of my biggest gripes and frustrations about the game, is when we get all of these new items like echo shards and like even like dating way back to like glistering melons. And it does get my gears going in my brain, thinking like, oh, you know, there's like so many other things I could do. And I think in a way it's a good way, because it gets the community brainstorming ideas and thinking of, you know, what Mojang could do with all these resources and stuff. But once again, the older materials and items really get overlooked.
So what do you think about the current like output for Mojang right now? Like, should they have more content within their updates, being that they're the most selling game in the whole world? Or like what's your take on that? Because I've got a friend that is very critical of Minecraft's development cycle.
I feel like the community standards have definitely risen since the Nether update, but I feel like Mojang on their end, they need to kind of still balance out what they show us and what they deliver on. And it's going to take a while to adapt to this. I feel like the wild update, or not wild update, excuse me, the no named update 1.20, they only showed a couple features, which I remember watching Minecraft Live at the time. I was like, oh wow, is this update going to be another dud? Like, and the whole community, I feel like, was like, that's it, you know, like that was very disappointing.
I think I can remember making a community post, because Minecraft Live usually premieres around like 2-3 a.m. here, and I don't stay up that late normally. I stayed up that late, and then all we got was what, camel and the
I
bamboo.
remember that.
I stayed up until 4 a.m. and ruined my sleep schedule to look at 4 features.
And camel.
And I think I made a community post, and you were expressing your disappointment, I think. Okay, so I think we've covered the Mojang's output. Now we're going to run through 1.20 as a whole. So we'll start off with Archeology. What's your opinions on Archeology so far?
I'm kind of in the middle. I like the potential the old Archeology system had. I really like the way that you had to fire the pots, like you would craft them from clay and then put the shards in them, like physically, not just in the crafting table, but like actually place them on it in game. Mojang recently, what I've noticed is they like adding things that have a lot more interactions outside of a GUI, like the chiseled bookshelf, for example. So I really liked that.
At least Desert Wells are actually getting a use now, though, right?
I was so excited about that. I have been vouching for Desert Well uses for a very long time. Like when the camel was announced, I remember I made a Reddit post about having camels spawn at Desert Wells, and I remember that blew up as well. And a lot of people were like, yeah, that would finally give Desert Wells a new use if they spawned at the Desert Wells, and it makes sense. But so I was really excited to see that. So I wouldn't mind if there was only a little bit of suspicious sand at the Desert Well, because it still gives it some use, you know? But what I do want is I want it in other biomes. I want like suspicious gravel around like the jungle temple. And it doesn't have to be in every structure. Like it doesn't need to be in underwater ruins. I've seen some people suggest it in underwater ruins. That doesn't make sense to go and brush underwater gravel.
Yeah.
Not at all.
One big gripe I do have with the game is that a lot of structures basically have, like, in a way, a shared loot table. And I know that's not right, but, like, I mean that loosely. Like, you can find diamonds and, like, desert temples and jungle temples. It's all stuff you can just get naturally. There's no specific reason for someone to search for, let's say, a jungle temple. Apart from the armor trims now, which I'm kind of happy with, but it's just like a self-expression thing. It doesn't make any changes to your game. Now you have to go to a bastion if you want netherite. I really like that.
I mean, I'll go into bastions with like iron armor. I'll take the risk because the loot in there is extremely good.
Yeah.
But I like to play the early game a lot. I will drag out the early game and mid game for as long as possible. I think in my most recent survival world, I'm 1,000 days in. Haven't even gotten full diamond armor yet. I just build. That's what I enjoy doing right now.
Another issue I have with the game is that there's a lot of focus on early game, but there's no focus on the end game. Like, look at the end and how barren it is.
Exactly. If we need more end game content, because part of the reason why I like the early game so much is I feel like there's a lot more to do.
What are your opinions on armor trims?
I know a lot of people think that they should affect the player, like give the player effects, but I'm actually a huge fan of them. I think it gives the player a lot of customization, especially now that they allow you to put it on leather armor. That's huge. Like, I know you can make a lot of ugly designs, like redstone trim on diamond looks awful. And you know what? Some people will like it, some people will hate it, but it comes down to personal preference. And I'm a big single player, and I feel like it's actually implemented pretty well. I really like the armor trims.
What are your opinions on bamboo wood?
I don't like it. I don't like the color, and I can see where Mojang's coming from, adding it to appeal to, because there's a lot of areas around the world where, you know, they do live in houses made of bamboo, or they do build things out of bamboo. You know, it's a material in the world, and I feel like bringing it to Minecraft, it adds a lot more content. Like, I like the fence posts.
What's your opinions on the cherry tree wood and the relating plants like cherry blossoms?
I was really surprised that Mojang dropped a whole new biome and wood set on us in the same update as the jungle planks. My mind was blown. That's huge. I know I just said I only build in a medieval style, but I actually love building in an Oriental style. But now that we have this cherry blossom forest, I think I am definitely going to be trying that style again.
What are your opinions on the camels?
I believe the camels were the first thing they showed off for the new update. So when I first saw the camels, I was very excited. And of course, towards the end of Minecraft Live, like I said, I wasn't as hyped, but when I first saw the camels, I really liked them as a mob. I feel like being able to seat 2 players on a camel, that's something I've wanted for the horses for a very long time, being able to sit 2 players or even putting a villager on the back for villager transportation. I feel like they could add that to the camels. That would give them an amazing use.
I did a video that I scrapped where we were testing out 1.20 features. 4 people, including me. We all got on camel back. Person at the back had a bow and arrow and they were shooting down husks and skeletons and stuff. Way more fun than like everyone riding separately on horses and stuff. Because there's a sense of like co-op in a way. Finally, the last question I have for you. What is your opinion on the sniffer? Most recent mob vote mob.
As soon as I update my world to 1.20, I'm going to get a sniffer, I'm going to breed them, and I'm going to slaughter. I think I am going to love them. I love the sniffers. The way they turned out and the way they tie into archaeology is amazing, dude. I mean, I don't have any other words to describe it as other than like, I fucking love it, dude. The way the sniffer walks around, the sounds it makes, it just feels old and like alien, but at the same time, it fits into the world very well. I feel like the sniffer is cute enough to where I'm going to be getting it anyways in my world. Whether or not I'll be using the torch flower, I think it's kind of ugly. I'm sure you saw the tweets by Roger Badgerman of the leaks he showed.
I saw the leaks. The only reason I'm content with it right now is because I'm giving myself the guise that that there's not just going to be the torch flower, because like the torch flower, right, with the word torch in the name, doesn't illuminate.
I don't know why they didn't just add a plant with like that could be used for brewing, a potion, or it does give off lighting, or what I thought with that plant that Roger Badgerman leaked. I would have liked for that to be added, but like maybe it only blooms at night. It only glows at night, and it would like open up.
I think if I do use it, it's probably just going to go on one of my shelves in my base. And that's it. And then I'm going to forget about it.
I actually sent a picture of what I was building at the time when I saw the Roger Badgerman leaks. And so that glowing plant would have fit perfectly into that biome. Maybe you can show that on screen right now for the viewer or whatever. But so I was really disappointed when that wasn't the plan we got. But at the same time, there's more to come with this update. They announced all the main features, but they're going to be improving and adding to what they've already added. Would
you like to say anything to send up for the send off for the video or for your segment?
Subscribe to Zatrix, subscribe to Tumor, that's me. I don't actually upload YouTube videos right now. I have in the past, but I took them all down. But I might upload in the future. I don't have as much time, but if you want to see Minecraft related content from me, maybe subscribe. I don't know. But yeah, that being said, that's all I have to say about 1.20. Thanks for having me on.
Alright, thank you for coming on. Hearing this, what do you think? Do you love or hate any of the new features coming in 1.20? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing, because it always really helps me out. Hope to see you in a later video, but until then, have a good day or night.